let's start with the top 5 Super Bowl champions since the year 2000. This was an article on CBSSports.com that caught my eye from Brian DeArdo that I thought was very interesting, because when you go back and think of like some of the best teams over that span, some of them didn't win the Super Bowl. Teams like the 15-1 2011 Green Bay Packers, like the 16-0 2007 New England Patriots, like some of those like real
2018 Chicago Bears,
insane, the 13 Broncos that broke the scoring record. Like, they didn't win at all. Some of these teams that we think of
that
as
was Adam Gase,
believe so.
Yeah.
So some of the best ones like didn't actually get the job done. However, we're going to rank the ones that did. So who you got? Who's your top 5 in terms of the teams that won on this list? I'll say this list first. They ranked the 2024 Eagles, maybe a little recency bias there. They went Eagles 1, 2019 Chiefs 2, 2016 Patriots 3, 2013 Seahawks 4, and then the 2020 Bucks 5. To me, that list reeks of recency bias. So we'll do ours and see if we have any disagreements.
Number 5, I'm going to get away from recency bias. I'm going to go give a little bit of love to the blueprint, the archetype that we just saw in this Super Bowl. It's offensive line dominance. And when you've got a quarterback who can be efficient, and you got a head coach with a big old steel set of balls, and you got a bunch of all pros up front, you're usually going to do well. The 2009 New Orleans Saints.
Yes.
Number 5 for me.
Great team.
When I got into the league,
I think they led the league.
This was the teach tape I was given by my offensive line coach. And he was like, if you want to learn any position on the field, just put on the tape from this season and you can watch these guys just out there chefing it up. Masterclass. You have anything on the 09 Saints before I go on?
They had 39 takeaways that year, second most in the NFL, while also being the highest scoring offense in the league. So score points, turnover the other team, that's a great path to success. I think that's that kind of combination I would put as a top 5 team as well. They're in my top 5.
And you think about all that was going on in the world, particularly close to New Orleans. It was a magical season for the 2009 Saints. Number 4, the 2019 Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay, those are my 4 and 5. I just had them flipped.
Really?
Yeah.
Look at us. So you drink all weekend, you end up coming back thinking like an idiot like me. We're going to have the same list. That was Patrick, Travis, Tyreek in its purest form. That was the explosive offense that the Kansas City Chiefs yearn for still today.
Yes.
So much fun watching that team, obviously. And Spag's defense, as solid as ever, but it was that offense that carried this group. And it was just dominance. It was dominance.
I think that was, if we go back through, that was the best offense to win a Super Bowl over that span since the year 2000.
Had the Patriots finished their perfect season, that would have been would have been the other one.
Patriots, the Broncos, the Packers were like the other top 3 offenses. 2011, I think it was 2013 Broncos, or maybe 2014, one of those two. And 2013. None of those other ones won the Super Bowl when they really had their dominant.
Broncos
it was.
Got beat by my number 3 team.
Okay.
2013 Seattle Seahawks, 12th man.
Peak.
Russell Wilson, that defense, the Legion of Boom. Okay, they had a name for these guys. They were just dominant from inside to outside on that defensive front. Second level, third level.
That was the peak Legion of Boom. They were just capable of shutting down anyone, as we saw in the Super Bowl, 43-8 against the number 1 offense of all time in terms of scoring, the 2013 Denver Broncos. So yeah,
it may be my second year or my rookie year. We had a preseason game against the Seahawks, and I went up there, and I remember it was Brandon Mebane.
Oh, he was so good. He gets lost in that, but he was awesome.
He would get a sack and he would do the belly roll. Remember this big fat guy, sexy belly roll? Oh, I was so pissed. I was like, "You put that belly away. Put it away."
No one wants to see it.
Nobody wants to see that shit. Okay, number 2. I was 12/13 during this run, the 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep.
They beat the Raiders.
See, I didn't remember them well enough.
They floored the Raiders. They
shithoused the Raiders.
I was at that game.
When you blow out a team in a Super Bowl, it speaks volumes to like the fact that you can be on a different level than the other like supposed best team in the NFL. So yeah, that team, that defense was the year Derek Brooks set the record, right, for most pick sixes or something, most defensive touchdowns.
That was like Rondé Barber and them.
Yeah, that defense was overpowered. But they had Brad Johnson at QB
on the team.
Yeah, Warren Sapp was on that team. Rondé Barber, Dexter Jackson wins the. Please do. Let's hear it.
So I really liked Warren Sapp's game. obviously. He was a killer on the football field. I'm not really a huge fan of Warren Sapp. I met him. He wasn't very nice to me. I tried to be really nice to him. Keyword tried. He just wasn't very nice to me.
So we'll tell a story.
That being said, we're going to move on.
No, we can tell a little story about Warren Sapp coming on the show last week or Super Bowl week, 2 weeks ago. He comes on, and apparently he gets up there. I didn't see this before, but apparently like he was downstairs waiting, and not to say that no one recognized who he was, but like the right people weren't around to get him mic'd up and put him to where he was supposed to be on the set because he joined. And so he comes up, and I go to shake his hand, and he just like has a fist bump out.
Refused to shake hands.
And it's like, why does everyone want to shake hands?
Why are you guys so weird? Why do you guys want to shake hands? And I was like, well, we've never, never met. I kind of like jokingly was like, we've never met you. We just wanted to show some respect and shake your hand. You're Warren Sapp. You're 99.
And apparently when he was down there, he could not have been less nice to every single person that came around and asked him.
And that's okay. I mean, that's why he was such a great football player because,
But he refused to shake hands and thought it was weird that anyone wanted to shake his hand. And then we had him on the show. And
then he said that Micah Parsons is not a good pass rusher.
Yeah, dude. So
that 02 Bucks, number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, and you talked about recency bias, which is why I started the list off with the 2009 team, so you wouldn't be in my ear about that. It's the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles.
Hard to go against this. As much as during the regular season, they may not have been the best team in the NFL. Like down the stretch, they kind of were. It's just they had some early hiccups. Once the defense found its footing, because they had so many young guys on the defense side of the football, I don't even think if the Detroit Lions were at full strength that the Detroit Lions beat that Eagles team. They just, when you go back through the annals of history and basically the sort of what wins championships, defense, stop the run the football, the historical blueprint to win. There's not many teams in NFL history that did it better than this Eagles team.
Yep.
Number one rushing offense.
Things great.
The best rushing offense in the NFL, best run defense in the NFL.
Cover 4.
Far and
rush
away.
The passer with 4.
Yeah. Like so far and away the best down the stretch.
Score off of turnovers, run the football at will, be able to throw the football when you get advantageous looks on the outside, have a quarterback who can convert passes into runs, converting on 4th and shorts. Nobody did it better than the 2024 Eagles.
Yep. All right. My list. So I said 5, 2019 Chiefs, 4, 2009 Saints, 3, I went 2000 Ravens because this was the best defense of that. We said some of the best offenses didn't win. The best defense of the past, 25 years did win. Compare the 02 Bucks, which obviously 02 Bucks is an insane defense too. They actually ranked higher in points per game that season across the NFL. So obviously both were not known for their offenses, but I think the Ravens defense that year was better than the Bucs.
Era so when if you had a suffocating defense, it was good enough.
Yes. That
if you could run the football and just absolutely kick people's asses on defense.
And they had Jamal Lewis that year on that team.
Jamal Lewis. How big was that guy?
He was perfect for that defense.
How big was that guy?
God, he was like 235.
And he ran for 200 a couple of times, didn't he?
He used to have the record. He had the record before AP broke the record. He had like 295 in a game.
He was just built like a feral hog out there, just running around, goring people.
And then my top 2, 2024 Eagles, I have 2, 2013 Seahawks, I have 1. Again, because like what they did to a Broncos team in the Super Bowl, which was a better team than this year's Chiefs team. They had
protection issue.
Doug Baldwin, Golden Tate on the outside, Marshawn Lynch at running back when he was like peak Marshawn Lynch. That team, that was just a different team. That was a different team. So
they couldn't hold up in protection.
They did have a bad offensive line.
The Broncos.
Well, the Seahawks had a bad offensive line that year. I mean, they had a bad offensive line for like pretty much the whole Russell Wilson era. But basically that defensive line was so dominant that year. Michael Bennett, guy could rush the freaking passer. All right.
Michael Bennett.
Those are your top high school champion lists.
You say Michael Bennett, I get chills down my spine. That guy used to line up in North Korea when I was out there at tackle. He'd line up damn near in international waters, and he'd rush you from 10 yards away. And you didn't know if he was coming down the middle. He wanted to make an inside rush, outside rush. And you paired him over there with Cliff Averill, who was a really unheralded superstar at the rusher position.
Averill had the speed. Bennett had the quicks.
He was stout. And he was in great enough shape to be able to talk shit the whole game. I remember we had Jimmy Clausen playing quarterback up there. I think it was 2014.
That was
maybe
probably
the year after
Death
Legion
Sentence.
of Boom. And I was out there playing, no, it was 2015 because I was playing tackle.
Mhm.
So they still had some of those guys on defense. And we had Jimmy at quarterback, and I love Jimmy Clausen. But at the end of the day, it wasn't like having Jay Cutler or Josh McCown back there. And Cliff Averill knew it. He knew that Jimmy was going to hold on to the ball. Every single play that I got Cliff Averill blocked, he was like, I'm going to get that sack on the next play. Jimmy's going to give me that sack. And I'll never forget just the smile on this guy's face. It reminded me of playing against a guy like Brandon Graham, never stops smiling, but never stops rushing, and is always trying to kill your quarterback. Cliff Averill, Michael Bennett, nightmares.
Looking it up, Averill did get his sack in that game.
He did.
He did get a sack.
I don't know if it was on me.